Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome. My name is Matthew Vogel. I am the training general manager for Buffalo Wild Wings up in Marquette, Michigan, which is owned by Patton Wings based out of Shelby Township, Michigan. We're the largest franchise of Buffalo Wild Wings. We have currently 107 stores and planning on building more. So a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. My parents owned a small corner bar on the corner of 24th and Washington. Friday fish fries, cheap beer. That was kind of the name of the game. So the hospitality industry has kind of always been baked into my blood, I guess, for lack of better terminology. So I just have always been in the industry. Eventually moved away in 2009 to come to Northern Michigan University. Graduated with my degree in graphic design in 2013. And while I was in college, I just worked my way through doing various positions, working on campus, off campus, and started at Buffalo Wild Wings. And then once I graduated, I just realized that I liked the hospitality industry too much to leave it quite yet. So here I am, years later, still in Marquette, living the dream, and just enjoying my time there. Pretty much my pathway in this industry has been kind of from the ground up, starting at the very bottom, entry-level position, and kind of just working my way through every single step. So bringing that industry that I experience that I had previously growing up, I had, worked at my parents' bar, helped with that, helped cook, helped bartend, learned kind of the tips and tricks from them. And then I took that into working at a banquet hall where we would do large events, weddings, caterings, holidays, events, and then brought that to college with me and just kind of always loved working in the hospitality industry and meeting people, interacting with the community, and just being able to serve people. I think that was just naturally where I felt alive and just kind of in my own element. But when I went to NMU and then I started working at Buffalo Wild Wings, I started as just a cashier, front of house, greeter, busser, food runner, takeout. That was kind of the name of the game, very entry level, working part-time while also going to school full-time. And slowly from there, I just worked my way through different positions. So started cashier, learned that, became very proficient in it. Eventually requested that I cross-train into the serving department so that way I could make, with the tips and have cash on hand, especially when I started paying rent and lived off campus. And then once I turned 21, again, requested to bartend because that was, in my blood. I really wanted to get behind the bar and be able just to be, on performance and talk to the community members and the guests that were sitting at the bar rail. And I also just really enjoyed pouring drinks for people and just being able to communicate. I mean, I was literally getting paid to talk to people, learn their stories, learn their names, learn what they're about. And, I've watched families grow from that. I've still served people to this day that I was serving, 10 years ago, which I think is just incredible that, I'm able to watch their progression in life and they can also watch mine while also still being in the same familiar and comfortable setting. From there, I became a certified trainer, worked my way through that, training various, in serving positions, bartending positions, just training any of the new hires that came through. And then eventually, down the road was asked to help with our new store openings. So I helped train in the entire team at the Gaylord store opening. And then when we did a relocation into Sterling Heights, I went down and helped with that, got the store set up, retrained everyone on the new systems. And then from there, I just kind of, again, continued just wanting more. I just, I got hungry and I just wanted to keep progressing and climbing that ladder. So after I graduated college, I stayed, working at B-Dubs and then ended up, just working full time. And then, lovely student loan payments kicked in and I was like, I need something more consistent. I just need to make sure that I am, able to, pay my bills, but also pay my student loan payment while also still, working at a company that I love. And then luckily a management position opened up. I applied for it, interviewed for it, luckily and very fortunately got hired into the management role. Went down to Petoskey and I trained for 4 weeks, learned, the departments that I had never been in before, which was mainly the kitchen, trained in that. And then I learned all of the front of house, back of house, inventory, ordering, all of the nitty gritties for running each of those departments, and then took that knowledge and brought it back to Marquette with me and worked under my GM for a full year. During that full year, We saw many different changes. I mean, there was lots of menu changes. We're in a college town, so we had some staff turnover just based upon people graduating different semesters, and then learned multiple departments. I started with the original department that I started in, so oversaw the cashier department, the small front of house department, which was just your cashiers, greeters, takeout, and then from there, that kind of morphed into taking over the kitchen, learning those operations, making their schedule, building that team, hiring, and making sure that we were fully staffed and proficient in our kitchen department, and then progressed into handling the serving and bar department, which was kind of my specialty, being that I worked predominantly in the front of house. I loved that aspect. I loved food ordering, but I more so loved the beer, liquor, wine, all of the front of house, making the server and bartender schedule, just handling that large department. I guess I just wanted to have my hands on as much as possible at any given time, because I'm, kind of a control freak, and I love just knowing where everything's at and where things are going. And then, like I said, it just kind of fell into place. There was a AGM spot opened up. Tried for that, and luckily at the same time there was kind of a weird shift in our region where GM down in at a downstate store was getting promoted to regional. So then my GM that I was underneath ended up transferring there to take over that GM spot, and so I just kind of bypassed the AGM position and was luckily promoted right into GM. I was 23, very young. And I've been doing it for just over 10 years at this point. So it's been a wild ride, but it's been one that I have thoroughly enjoyed and have learned immense amounts of, in relation to everything that's going on, operations, staffing, scheduling, labor laws, food recalls, QIR, I mean, you name it. It's just been an intense ride, but it's been so much fun learning, and just having, being able to cultivate a team that I can truly call my own, and seeing the results that I put in, from my work each and every day at the industry, and at the building that I see. And then, just after doing this for many years, now I'm slowly hoping to transition and just take on more, maybe be multi-unit or just assist in different stores and different levels, just that way I can just, continue to broaden my knowledge, gain more experience, learn more teams, learn more operations. I'm always hungry, and I'm always craving more knowledge, and I hope that you are as well, and are just enjoying your time in the industry. One of the other things that came out of this, working at Beat-Ups, is I've met a lot of people and have a lot of great contacts. Again, you get to interact with your entire community at your restaurant. When you have tourists that come into your town, they're not going to your office buildings. They're not going into these smaller little, private offices, or the attorneys or lawyers or whatever it may be, that's in your community. They're coming in to visit your restaurant and your establishment, and they're going to ask your staff or ask you where to go, what to do, what's fun about your town, what's the history of it. So you actually get to be kind of an ambassador for your community and showcase what's so special about it and why you live there, to all of those that come through, especially for us, being that we have, Northern Michigan University in our community. We have a lot of parents that come up always asking questions about, like, oh, what can my son or daughter do? What's fun about the community? What are different things that are going on? And it's always great just to build those connections with those people, and then you always see them coming in during Parents Weekend, or when they come up for a weekend visit just at a random point throughout the semester. And then who knows, maybe they'll end up applying, and we get to work with them, and I'm very fortunate, knock on wood. We have a lot of students that work for us, and usually once we have them, we kind of keep them throughout their entire collegiate career. And then, we may not lose as many throughout the years, but then all of a sudden a May graduation hits and we lose like 13. So it's always a little sting, but it's always good fun, and always keeps us on our toes, and we always prepare for, those moments as best as we possibly can. But in those contexts that I've created or have cultivated throughout my time as GM, one of them was getting in contact with people that worked for the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association, and then becoming a Serve Safe Alcohol trainer. I did that, toured around my entire region, which is Marquette, Sault Ste. Marie, Petoskey, Gaylord, and Traverse City, teaching Serve Safe Alcohol to all of our staff, and making sure that they all had their certifications and getting them ready to go so they could serve alcohol safely at our establishments. And then somehow that just kind of kept rolling and snowballing, and I became an instructor for the Hospitality Training Institute of Michigan. I've been doing the business management, the 12-week business management course, teaching that since 2024. So this is my second year. So I usually teach the UP and any northern lower Michigan classes that are there. And travel around, just again learning new people, learning new things from new people, and just making those contacts that I have with that. I still have emails every now and then that come through from some of my original students that just even catching up, saying, hey, how's it going, or checking in. And anytime I'm going into their communities, I already know exactly where I'm going to visit and where I'm going to stop by, because I know that I've worked with them and have met them personally, and want to give their business some give them a shot and just stop by and say hi and follow up. So that's been great. I've also, the thing is that I've not only been teaching these courses to them and giving them the materials and helping them learn, but I've also learned a lot in the process too. You never want to stop learning once you get into this industry, just always being hungry for that knowledge, always just wanting to continually improve yourself. And make sure that you are doing the best of your abilities each and every day. But again, the contacts that I've made working in this industry are pretty much invaluable. And I think that's what's so unique about our industry in comparison to others, is that we interact with our community face to face, and being that we have a lot of students that are going to school, they get to talking about what they're going to school for, what their degree is going to be in, and what they want to do with that. And some of the people that have eaten at our restaurant have actually ended up interviewing people for their positions once they graduate college, because they know they have good work ethic. They know they've seen them serve their tables, they've seen them multitask, they've seen them work in a fast-paced industry. So those are very valuable skills that people are looking for. And when you make those contacts, you serve them well, and you take good care of them, you start to get to talking, and they might know somebody that's hiring, or they might themselves be hiring or work at a company that's looking for someone that fits into your degree that you're going to school for. And that's great. So you wish them well, but obviously you want to keep as many people as you can, so you kind of get a little jealous when they do leave for somewhere else. But it's always great that we can see people, build their contacts and start their professional careers. But I also get to, have the privilege of helping them along the way and watching them do that in my industry. And also still, again, maintaining those contacts with my community members, and being, they always say, your restaurant is your four walls, but you should also still be a secondary mayor of your town and go out and make those community connections, get out and market your restaurant, partner with local businesses, donate raffle prizes to organizations and charities, and just being active in your community. I think that's a really, really great way to get your name out there. But I also think it's a great way to bring people into your business and just build that good repertoire with people, and just have repertoire, I should say rapport, but just have those good contacts with people that can come in and they know that they're going to be taken care of, and they know they're going to have a good time while they're at your restaurant. So yeah, like I said, right now I'm GM. I'm also the hospitality training instructor for the northern Michigan kind of region. I also teach ServSafe food manager, do those classes, certified proctor for that. So I've kind of just taken on all of these different roles in my career that have truly led me to where I'm at today. Without these trainings, the people that I've talked to, the people that I've learned from, I don't think I would be anywhere near where I am today. But always keeping an open mind, wanting to learn more, being hungry for that knowledge has truly helped me in my career. So one of the biggest things that has helped me learn, when I first took over, I didn't know which way was which and what I was doing. And slowly but surely you get more comfortable, you get more acclimated, you figure out what works and what doesn't for you. But the one thing that I've always been really, really big on is investing in our team members. You cannot, without them, you cannot function in this industry. You need your team to survive. So what does that look like? What does that mean for your business? And I think it's just all about the investment. We have to, invest in our employees from the very beginning. Start them off on the right foot, starting with a strong orientation, letting them know what your business is about when you invite them in, and then letting them know what their training is going to look like ahead of time. You're going to have this many shifts for training, this is your plan, and then eventually you'll be on your own. You want to give them the upfront information and the upfront knowledge, so that way they're going to be able to see in real time or know where they're going to end up. They don't want to be led astray. They don't want to feel like they're getting the the wool pulled over their eyes. They want to know, what is my timeline to be an independent server? What is my timeline to be on the schedule and not be training? So giving them that upfront information during that orientation process, but also making sure that the orientation process is fun. A lot of the times we always look at orientation as kind of the dry, the boring, the paperwork, the HR stuff that we think, in our industry is dry, because we like action, we like movement, we like being up and running around. So we don't want to necessarily do the paperwork. We don't want to put them in the punch-in system. We don't want to put them in the scheduling system. We don't want to do all of the back office stuff. But we want to make sure that we get that done correctly and promptly to make sure that they're ready to go for that first day. And then when we invite them in for that first day, having the trainer that's going to be training them know that they're going to be training them. We don't want them to show up for their first day of training and say, oh, this is so-and-so, you're going to be training with, Tanya today. And they're like, I didn't know I was training. That's not a good look. We want to make sure that we are set up for success. We have all of their information pulled up and ready to go. Any logins that they need, we have written down for them. Even a training folder, all of the documents they're going to need to succeed in your business is going to help start them off on that positive foot, and then handing them off to a trusted employee that's going to, guide them and be their mentor throughout that entire training process. I'm a firm believer that you cannot shortchange your training program, because that's just going to impact your guests in the long run, and that's also going to be what kind of makes or breaks your business. If you're impacting your guest service, they may not return. You may also have issues in terms of inventory, cost of sales. You may have issues where they don't know the service standards and they're not providing the, is highlighting the correct appetizers or beer focuses of the month that you really want them to, highlighting those products, or greeting guests in the specific way. Obviously, we work for a corporation, and we have a very specific, guest service pattern that we need to follow. So making sure that they know what that is, they can follow it, and they are following it throughout their entire training process, and then also once they are done. The biggest thing, too, with training, again, you can't shortchange it, but once they're done training, they're not done training. They need to always be learning, and we need to always be there to motivate them, to guide them, and to give them the proper information that we can, to make sure that they are continually learning, continually motivated, but also providing that service that we want from them, so that way we know that our store is going to be successful. Another thing, too, is in terms of scheduling. That is one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people need to get out of their routine with personally. We have, again, a lot of college students that work for us. Because we are a college town, a lot of people just want to work 1 to 2 shifts a week, or have very specific scheduling needs based upon their class schedule, study times, and whatever else need be. There's a lot going on, and we need to respect that. But I think what happens is sometimes is that a lot of people are like, well, I want only an employee that's going to be able to work a full 5 shifts a week, or I need you to work at least 30 hours. I would rather have 3 or 4 employees that maybe work 1 to 2 shifts a week, but they're strong, they're dedicated, they're committed, they're eager, they're ready to go, and we take care of their scheduling needs, versus looking for one person that's going to fill those shifts that maybe isn't the best fit, isn't the most motivated, isn't the most punctual, isn't following spec, anything of that nature. I'd rather have more working less than one that's not going to be as great. If you have a dedicated team member, if you have one that's committed to it, they're eager, they perform, you need to do everything possible to keep them. And if that means giving them a unique schedule, if that means working around their extracurricular activities, their school schedule, their time off requests, do that. I mean, your team is invaluable to you, especially when you're in this industry. And when we can accommodate all of their scheduling needs, and we respect their scheduling and we respect their needs, they're going to do the same for us when we have those requests that we need of, upselling new things or promoting certain products. It's just a mutual respect and a mutual relationship. And I honestly think that is one of the most beneficial things when it comes to your employees. And then also being there to have a listening ear too. Again, we have a lot of students, so they have a lot going on, a lot of stressors. Just listening to what's going on in their lives, figuring out what's, how you can help and how we can be there for them, while also making sure that we're running our business successfully. We want to take care of our team and make sure they're okay. So listening for those cues of like, are they getting burnt out? Are there exams coming up and they need more time off? What can we do to make sure that they succeed outside of work, but also still perform for us in work? And just having that good that open dialogue between you and your employees is going to be an absolute game changer. And then when you have employees that are taken care of, they feel valued, they feel respected, that shows in your guest service. I mean, there is nothing more clear to me than when you have a group of happy team members doing their job, having fun while they're on duty, but also being able to provide that service that we need them to our guests to continue to stay open and to continue to have a good reputation. It's one of those things that comes full circle. So if you invest in your team from the very beginning, you take care of their scheduling needs, you listen to them, and you give them the good training program that we've started them off with, it comes full circle in your customer service and just making sure that you have a business that's going to thrive in the long run. And when it comes to leading a team, I mean, it's organized chaos. You're learning each and every day, and there's a rule book, there's guidelines, here's what your general job is. But I think that's also what I love about this industry is that I have the same tasks every single day. I have the same building every single day. I have the same, job description every single shift. But from the moment I unlock those doors and we open at 11, I never know what the day is going to be. I never know if we're going to get a school bus coming in or if it's going to be a slow day or what our plan is. And I think I love that, it's keeping me on my toes, and it makes me more productive on the side, oddly enough, because I don't know what I can plan for. I can't say I'm going to wait for that because it's going to be a slow day today. That's a curse in our industry. As soon as you say, I hope for a slow shift or I hope I'm able to do X, Y, and Z, you're not going to get to any of that. It's going to be chaos. We're going to be, slammed all afternoon. So just making sure that we can, be productive and be completing all of our tasks ahead of schedule is one of those things that is just going to be the best for you. And staying organized as well, whatever that looks like for you, whether it be a planner, a notebook, digital app, however you can stay organized and sorted, that's just going to help you make sure that you have your ducks in a row so they're not swimming in 50 different ponds. And as a leader, the more organized you are and the more sorted you are and the more knowledgeable you are, that reflects in your team. Your team will have confidence in you because you know the spec, you know the upcoming changes, you know what's going on, you know where things are, you know how to fix things, you know who to call, what to do. They just come to you as a resource and they feel comfortable going to a leader that knows what they're doing. If you're running around having a chaotic moment, if you're running around not knowing what's going on and trying to figure things out as you go, they're going to see that and they're going to feed off of that. So we just, again, want to make sure that we are, being calm, cool, and collected at all times, and providing that great service to for our employees, for our customer bases, each and every day, while, managing, putting out fires on the back end of things. The skills needed, be knowledgeable, learn as much as you possibly can, work in every position if that's possible, cross-train into as many positions as possible, get your hands on as many spec guides, recipes, drink build guides, whatever you can. If you have access to it, request that or learn as much as you can, because that's just going to benefit you later on down the road. If you're stuck in, if you feel stuck in a department and you're like, I'm only in the back of house or I'm only in the front of house, request to learn some of that information from both ends, because then you know what the cook times are. You know roughly how long menu items take to come out of the kitchen and to get to that expo window. Just keep learning, keep motivated, and just, the more well-rounded you are, the more well-versed you are, the more successful you are. And one of my suggestions, and I know it sounds crazy because I am crazy a little bit, I love inventory and I love cooler rotation and I love storage hierarchy. Like, that is my jam. But the more time you look in your coolers and you interact with your products, you know what rate you're going through product. You can see how fast you've been flying through, depending on your truck deliveries. If you have 2, 3, 4, however many deliveries you have a week, you can see firsthand what you're going through because you're pulling out those empty cases, you're seeing the rotation, you're like, okay, well, I started with 5, now after a day and a half I only have 3, and you can keep that as a barometer for your food ordering, which then helps tighten up your cost of sales, your cost of goods sold, and just making sure that you're not over or under ordering products so you don't run out, which is always the worst when you have that long 86 list. We've all been there, we've all gone through it. But it just helps that in the long run, to prevent that from happening and make sure that your team isn't coming back and forth to the kitchen saying, are we out of anything? Or what are we out of today? We're out of nothing. Everything's fine. We got everything going on. And just being hands-on with that. The more you interact with your product, the more you do your figure eights through your restaurant and you see how your team is doing, how they're functioning, how they're cooking, how they're serving, just keeping an eye on everything and just kind of being well-versed in all aspects of your restaurant, it just helps you in the long run control a lot more of the back end costs, and it also just makes you more knowledgeable and being able to fill in the gaps wherever needed, especially if you have call-ins or you're ever running a day that's a little bit short-handed. Another thing too is when you're working with your vendors, take care of your vendors and they take care of you. If you take care of them, especially during holiday season, maybe give them a gift certificate or a small little gift, whatever it may be. It could even be baked goods. It doesn't need to be anything huge or anything special, but the more respectful you are towards your vendor and the more kindness and courteous you are to them, they will do the exact same for you. We've all been there where we run out of product or we forgot to order a keg of something and we have to get one specially delivered for us. When we're kind to our vendors, they're willing to do more jumping for us, but we don't want to, if we're rude to them or if we treat them as if they're nothing and they owe us something, we're not going to get that. We're going to have to wait until next week's delivery. So taking care of your vendors and they take care of you and your business. And then my other thing is just going back to public outreach, being out in the community, being interactive with, I obviously work in a sports bar, so my specialty is sports. So getting involved with athletic programs, getting involved with the local schools. What can we do to benefit football programs, hockey programs, youth sports? Do we have sponsorships? Do we have fundraisers? What programs are available to you in your community through your restaurant that you can start marketing to get people in that door? Especially if you're a new starting restaurant and you're up and coming, you want to focus on growing that top line as much as possible, and everything else figures itself out down the road. The worst thing you can do is just unlock the doors and wait for people to come in. We want to get people in, to get people talking about our product, to get people talking about our team. If we have something great that we've cultivated and we've made inside of our four walls, we want to continue to broadcast that to the world and just continually get people through that door, trying us for lunch, dinner, after hour, or happy hour, or after work cocktails, whatever that may be. We just want to get them in our building and make sure that they are taken care of and we are marketing our business as best as we can. And the other thing with leading a team, again, it's just being there for your team and being a resource, listening to them, listening to their concerns, and then acting upon them. If they have something that's brought up, a lot of the times people will say, I'm not going to my manager with this because nothing gets done or it feels like nothing ever changes. If they're offering suggestions and you think that they might work, let's implement it. Let's see what we can do and let's work together to go through this process, because it makes them feel valued. It makes them feel like they're heard. They're an important part of your team. Whereas if we do nothing, we just say, oh yeah, I'll look into it, and nothing gets done, they're not going to bring anything to your attention moving forward, and they're not going to feel like they're valued, and they don't, their expertise or their knowledge is not appreciated or respected there. So take care of your teams, take care of your managers. If you are, a GM or a GM and you have, managers that are underneath you, but especially if you're starting off in this industry, if you're starting at the assistant manager position, whatever department you're overseeing or whatever tasks, be hungry, keep motivated, try and learn more, take on as much as you possibly can without, overdoing it, but just keep learning, keep, cultivating that knowledge, because that is going to pay off in the long run. You are going to be so much more beneficial. You're going to be so much more well-rounded. And the more you hone in those skills, the better off you're going to be in the long run. It's just going to make you a better manager because you're going to know how to walk the walk and talk the talk, and your team will see that. And when they see a confident manager, when they see a confident employee, they want to be around you. They want to work for you, and they're not going to want to leave you. So it just comes full circle. So just taking care of your team, being that good leader, and being knowledgeable about your industry and what you can do to continue. But then also looking for, any trainings that are offered through your company or in your local area. Serve Safe Alcohol, Serve Safe Food Manager, Certified Hospitality Supervisor, the Hospitality Training Institute of Michigan's 12-week business management program. Come hang out, come to the UP, and I'll teach the class for you, and we'll have a good time. So just trying continually to develop your knowledge and hone it in. And you're never too old to learn something new. You're also never too knowledgeable to go take a training again. Sometimes it's good to get those refreshers out of the way, and just it sometimes brings up something new that you may have experienced that you didn't in the past, or something that you thought you knew that maybe changed. It's always good to continue learning, because it's just going to make you a well-rounded manager in the long run, and all of your teams are going to notice, and most importantly, your guests are going to notice. And your guests should always be your number one focus, because if we take care of them, we give them that great service, we give them that great food, they're going to continue coming back, and it's going to be a great thing that we have, because we're always busy, and it's better to be busy than bored, especially in our industry. We want our team to make money, we want to make money, we all want to go home at the end of the day and just be able to enjoy what we've built together. So just keep on it, keep up, keep motivated, keep a positive attitude, and no matter how crazy things get in the industry, I mean, just keep having fun. That's the biggest thing. Working in our industry, it should be a good time. It should be a fun time, and we should be able to have a great team that we surround ourselves with each and every day. So, hope I didn't talk in too many circles, but thank you for watching. Again, my name's Matthew Vogel. I'm up in Marquette, Michigan. So if you ever find yourself in the UP or going to Northern Michigan University, swing by B-Dubs. I'll probably be there. Give me a shout, and come in and we'll get some wings together. So have a great afternoon, a great week, a great fall, whatever that may be. And I wish you all very well, and only the best on your future journey in this industry. So thank you so much.